Congressman, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Emerald. It was good to see Allison yesterday, too. That was a very good summary. And I know that you've been on top of this issue longer than anybody else. In fact, you were the one who got me to pay closer attention a few years ago.
Why is it that Trump has done a 180 on this? I know this is speculation on your part, but having known him, this is not the first time you found yourself at odds with the president, but you don't often do. Why has he changed his position?
You know, I thought I was supporting the administration's position because initially, because Attorney General Bondi, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, the FBI Director, Kash Patel, even Trump's children, all said that we should release these files. So I think it's the president who finds himself at odds with me and with his base, because 80% of his base supports the release of these files. And frankly, the other 20% haven't really looked into the issue enough to know about it.
Not only are you now at odds with the president and his White House over what was initially their position, as you noted. I mean, Pam Bondi made multiple public statements. She was on Fox News almost every day promising the release and saying there were stacks of papers on her desk. But now the Trump White House is basically backed a super PAC to remove you from office. Yeah. And it's apparently funded by prominent Jewish funders in the GOP. I guess I'll ask you, why would Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer donate millions of dollars to try to oust you? They try to say it's about voting against the big, beautiful bill. Is it perhaps related to the Epstein files?
Well, Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer, I don't know if they have a connection to Epstein, but the third billionaire, John Paulson, is in Epstein's Black Book. Now, the Black Book isn't the Epstein list. That's just a list of people that Epstein knew and knew their phone numbers and thought it was helpful to keep them handy. So one of the billionaires who's running millions of dollars of ads against me in Kentucky 8 months before even my primary election is in Epstein's Black Book. I think there's some motivation there, but the one thing that all three of these billionaire donors have in common is that they're upset that I don't vote for foreign aid to Israel and that I've opposed Israel's war in Gaza, and they want complete compliance with AIPAC's positions here in Congress. I also don't allow AIPAC in my office. For several years I haven't, once they started attacking me. And I never did attack them in the beginning. I just didn't vote for foreign aid. I had a consistent policy. I didn't have any special policy for Israel. I've opposed all the wars in the Middle East. I've opposed wasting our money, our tax dollars, and I'm ethically opposed, morally opposed to the war that's going on in Gaza right now. But that's consistent with my position for any foreign country.
Allison asked during the press conference yesterday of one of the attorneys if Jeffrey Epstein is tied to either our own intelligence or foreign intelligence. That's the question everyone has asked. Pam Bondi was asked that during a cabinet meeting recently, where she said she didn't have evidence of that, essentially. You've seen a little bit, Congressman Massie. Is there evidence pointing towards Epstein being a foreign asset of perhaps, say, Israel or one of our own assets? What do you believe?
I believe he was an asset of our intelligence and of Israel's intelligence. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two, but you played a segment of the press conference yesterday where I think if you read between the lines and listen to Mr. Edwards, the attorney for the survivors, he gave us a roadmap of where to look and suggested that we should be looking at the CIA, that they probably have some documents or may have some documents that are relevant to this. So that gives me more of a roadmap. Hopefully, James Comer, the chairman of the Oversight Committee, will subpoena that information as well from the CIA. And then we also have in the court records, I know you know this, from when Acosta gave the sweetheart deal or was part of the sweetheart deal, he was the prosecutor at the time. gave the sweetheart deal to Epstein, in the court documents, you can see that he says that it's above his pay grade, that government intelligence was involved, that Epstein was involved with government intelligence, and that may be the reason why he got a lighter sentence. And by the way, when he got the lighter sentence, he was able to recommit all of this sexual abuse crimes for hundreds of victims, as we know.
I actually was there on the South Lawn the day that President Trump in the first term gave Alex Acosta his send-off after that DOJ press conference where he was asked about the Epstein files. I remember that very well. You're not the only Republican member of Congress fighting for this. You're joined by Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, and you've said that you and Greene are, quote, willing to name names in the House of Representatives under constitutional speech or debate immunity, unquote, regarding Jeffrey Epstein's clients. So tell us more about what you're doing in that vein.